and for their family members and friends. I mean, you go from being able to express all of your wants and needs, but also your emotions and your desires and your comments on everyday situations, to really being able to say nothing. And, when you're used to being able to speak and express everything, it's really hard to kind of figure out those other ways to communicate your message.
I can remember starting with just noises, and then one words, and then sentences, and then speaking. But it took, I would say, a good year, and I'm still learning.
You may experience difficulty speaking due to muscle weakness or paralysis. This can result in slurred speech or not speaking clearly.
Weakness on one side of your face, which will, result in you having less control and less precision with those movements, and that will result in your speech coming out not sounding the way you intended it to.
You may have difficulty planning motor movements or moving muscles. This can result in difficulty initiating speech or a struggle to pronounce words. Many people experience the inability to understand what is heard or read.
All these activities, when you don't have a stroke, you think, oh, it's so easy. But for a stroke survivor, that's really hard. So we have to break down into smaller steps so they practice almost every day, and then they regain these skills again.
Some people suffer a reduced ability to concentrate, pay attention, and organize information. This may leave them disorganized or unable to follow conversation.
Helping the patient to learn how to approach other people and ask for what they need. I need you to listen. I need you to stand in front of me so I can look at your lips. I need you to make sure the TV, the radio, all other distractions are off. Okay? I need to slow down my speech. I need to give myself a few extra moments to think of the right word or put together a sentence. And tell a patient that, the responsibility is theirs to share what they need, right? They need to tell people. People won't just know by looking at you, oh, you've got some communication problems, you've got slurred speech. So they need to inform that person that they have these difficulties and what their needs are.
If the person has word-finding difficulties or can't express themselves, not alone can it be enormously upsetting for the patient, but it can be equally frustrating for the family member.
Conversely, patients with communication difficulties may be perceived as being less competent or intelligent than they really are. What can you do? Here are some basic tips to assist you. Remove any distractions, such as the TV or radio. Ask the person to break up the message into smaller pieces. Write down or record the message so you can go back and refer to it later. Be patient with yourself. Getting angry or frustrated will only make it harder to remember. Concentrate on one thing at a time. Use memory aids such as appointment books, written notes, and lists to keep track of what you're supposed to do.
When we talk about, other strategies besides speech, the first thing I try to go to is, maximizing your use of facial expression and gestures. You'd be surprised at how much information we actually convey with just our facial gestures, our facial expressions, and our gestures. It's unbelievable. And things like writing. Some patients are able to preserve that ability to write, whereas others are not. So if somebody's able to write, we'll use that as much as possible.
Sometimes we have communication boards that the speech language pathologist would design for the patients. If the patient, sometimes it's even a language barrier. If it's a language barrier, we encourage the family members to do simple things such as write what the patients would most likely ask for, go into the bathroom, write it in their language, and then write the English. So we do a lot of pointing, and that helps facilitate the communication needs.
Learning about challenges and strategies to deal with thinking and communicating is very important. Working closely with your healthcare team to develop a plan that works for you and then following through is the best way to regain your skills.
To me, it was like going to school. This is my teacher. And I just wanted to put all my energy in speaking and being able to communicate. I mean, I wasn't thinking about, well, I hope I can get back to the way I was. I just wanted to be able to communicate. And with the support of the therapist saying, you can do it. You can do it. It'll take time, but you can do it. Then all I thought about was getting better.